Hello and welcome to the surveying exercise of day one of Hist H425, Cities and Technology in the Industrial Age. We're here looking at a bit of a mock-up of a very simplified version of pre-industrial surveying. And in our hypothetical Spanish city, I'm walking from inland down towards the waterfront. On my right is the church lot. On my left would be house lots, and you can see the stakes and get a sense of how wide the street frontage was. 50 Castilian feet, around 45 of our feet. The church would not, in a city this size, probably, the church wouldn't take up this whole square area next to us, but from where I started walking to that next stake that you see in front of us was a corner of the church lot, approximately, in this case, approximately 200 feet square. The church lot would have included the church, house for the priests, or the one priest, and often these would be houses that had a courtyard inside, and maybe even a second courtyard in the back. You might have some, an orange tree, an olive tree, and an avocado tree or something would be good for the climate of Uruguay, which is more or less what we're imagining here where this city would be, for some hypothetical city being built about 1600 under laws from 1572. As we come to the church then, this would be a building on our right, big stone church. Then we would be entering here the plaza, so a street would go off that way towards Hatfield Hall, and another street would go out the other side into those pine trees, and that street, the street we came in on, and another one the other side of the church would become the principal streets of the city. And you'll see, as you read the laws, that the streets were intended to be set up in such a way that the city could expand more or less indefinitely. And you can see possibly that way in the distance there's another red stake out there where one of our intrepid groups has surveyed the far corner of the block on the other side of the plaza. This open area in front of us here would be the plaza. Buildings on the plaza would be the church. A little bit of swing here because I'm walking. Since this is a port town with the ocean or a river down where the highway is, right here, old Wabash Avenue there, I put in a custom house, which port towns would typically have, where government officials would collect taxes on the goods that were imported and exported, which was a major source of revenue for the crown and a major purpose for the existence of the colonies in the first place. Let's see here. The custom house then symbolized by this big wooden packing box, taking up a whole block here because often goods would be also stored in the customs house. See, it would reach all the way to that little red stake there, way down by the road. I've symbolized the water there by that blue blanket. As we come around on the other side, you can see near that big sycamore tree, there's a little red flag there. That half of that block over there, which has the purple cloth line on the ground in the middle of it, well, that's a hall for the Real Audiencia, kind of government council and high court. And then the next lot would be symbolized by having a bit of gold fabric tied on a tree there, and that would be where the city council would have its hall to meet in. And then over where the civil engineering department is setting up an outdoor classroom for today, and in that parking lot, the house lots would continue. And You'll see in the laws, the cities are intended to be healthy. The cities are intended to be healthy under the ideas of 1572, meaning the wind should sweep down the streets to clean out the bad smells. The streets should be wide enough that the sun will dry up the mud. The things should not be packed too closely together. And I will see if I can't show you some stuff online of what the Spanish cities looked like in Spain. There were big plazas like this in Spain. If we figure half of this field in front of us, 200-foot square or so, is plaza. There were cities with a plaza like that in Spain, but very few of them had a rectangular or square street grid. The square street grid is very typical of Spanish colonial cities. And it's worth mentioning, as I said to a lot of the people, but everybody may not have heard, that the Spanish colonial city was intended to be where the Spaniards would live mostly and where Spanishness would live. These were cities intended to rule and also to religiously convert and culturally control conquered peoples. And they were not always allowed to live in the city, or they had a segregated part of the city, but the city was there to show them Spanishness. And when you read the laws, you can see other things about relationships between them. Okay, I think that's about good.